Welcome to GARcast. Today we're here to talk about the manga author Go Nagai, because why not? And we have our lovely round together again. It's Alastair,
Hey,
Boris,
Hello.
and as our special guest today, AwesomeSoxz.
Hello.
So, would you like to introduce yourself, Sox?
Okay. I'm AwesomeSoxz, and I make stupid videos on the internet every 3 months, or at least that's how my upload schedule is going right now. And I made a video about Devilman Lady. It's pretty shit, but yeah, that's why I'm here today.
A leading expert on the Devilman Lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, should we start then?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of info do you have gathered?
So far, about the author himself, Go Nagai, born in 1945, a pretty important figure in manga and Japanese media in general. Basically, for all the lot of work he has done. I can go through a few of the things here. For example, his one of the main first work he did for the then starting Shonen Jump was Henshi Gakuen, the Shameless School, which was basically the starting point of all erotic modern new manga. So if you are asking yourself, why is there so much fan service in this medium? Well, there it is. there it started.
Legend.
By not drawing explicit sexual content, but having in brackets lewd stuff like panties and school children want to peek on each other and stuff. So yeah, there it all started, and basically he became notorious for it. He was branded an enemy of society. So yeah, it really took off for him. And there's a reaction of it. Apparently, the manga Henshi Gakuen ends with all of the cast getting killed by the Parent-Teacher Association, which back then was also against him for being a notorious writer. So yeah, and then he later on went on to the super robot genre, as well as basically forming the magical girl genre with Cutie Honey. So we have his body of work, starting out with erotic content, which will be a theme. We can also talk about that. And then going to magical girls and big robots.
Go Nagai basically invented anime as it is today.
Yeah, basically.
You have fan service and robots and magical girls, and that's all anime is anyway.
Yeah. Well, he worked under Tezuka and Ishinomori, the creator of Super Sentai, so he is really influenced by the big guys in the medium. So we've got their overseeing of his work to thank as well for what he's done for the medium.
Where do we want to start? With big robots or magical girls?
Or Devilman.
Or Devilman?
Let's go for Devilman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Topical.
Where do we really start with Devilman? It's so big in how many iterations it's had, and it's going to have.
It's very relevant right now because we are going to get a new one, a new anime.
Yeah, by Yuasa.
Which is so very strange and very awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't expect USA, but it's good.
No one fucking expected USA. But as you can see, Devilman is still as relevant as ever.
Yeah, he still has a gigantic fan base. Probably my favorite one being Guillermo del Toro with his Devilman figure and being very chuffed about it.
Oh yeah.
Devilman is about, demons and stuff. and basically one guy forming a bond with a demon, and therefore becoming Devilman and beating demons up.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. It's a running theme with Go Nagai.
Yeah, it's your quite typical duality of man story with big demons and really erotic violence. Pretty much.
Especially in the monster design as well. Like, if there is a female monster, you can expect her to be, in some form, a nude woman.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose Devilman is really relevant, or was very unique back in the day, because it's like the first edgy shonen, so to speak.
Oh yeah,
with a lot of the eroticism and violence. So
exactly.
In a way, the godfather of Tokyo Ghoul or what have you. Big influence on Kentaro Miura as well, in terms of Berserk. It was really like pushing what you can do in a shonen manga, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. And even more so got even more controversy for it, especially for a protagonist who has a bond with something that is evil, which was, I think, back then when it was running, was very much like frowned upon and being called evil by parents.
Not surprised.
Also, maybe a spoiler, but I suppose the series is 40 plus years old, so whatever. The ending is not exactly happy. Not what you would expect. Things don't go well for humans. That's
well, that I can imagine. Has anyone seen the two OVAs that were made upon?
Yeah, I've seen the OVAs and I've read the manga a while, like several years ago.
I've just seen the OVAs. I've been meaning to get around to the manga, but I just haven't yet.
Yeah, the manga's currently the most full adaptation you've got of it, because it's never been fully adapted properly. But apparently UAS is going to have... Well, apparently UAS is going to have the ending, whether that means they're having everything else of it, like, one for one as well. But it's UAS, so it'll probably be a interesting take on it. It won't be one for one. Nothing he's done that's been an adaptation has been one for one, so...
Well, I mean, Devilman is not particularly long anyway, so it shouldn't...
like 5 volumes.
Yeah, so it shouldn't...
Really? That short?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Go Nagai never really makes anything particularly long.
No.
and
like, a lot of his stuff is like 7-chapter volumes, or like... Yeah, so like Devilman's one of his longest. It's only because it got adapted in the 70s and 80s where everything was made into 40 to 100 episode series.
Yeah. Well, that explains also why he just has a lot of OVA series about his work. Like, there's rarely proper series about stuff. But I think that also makes it fun, like having like short OVA series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I had another fact found here that Go Nagai is one of the very rare mangaka who broke the record of having 5 running manga series at the same time.
Oh, wow.
In 1972, apparently.
72. That would have been when Devilman was going on. So, like... Wait, so... Would that have been his beginning ones, like Devilman and Mazinger and that?
Like, yeah, most likely. So, in last episode, we talked about Fukumoto having 3, so nope. Go Nagai comes in, whap, I have 5.
Yeah, Mazinger Z was 72, so was Devilman, so...
And 3 others, apparently.
Yeah. Still impressive, though. Like, being on a weekly basis and showing out, like, 5 series at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. He's still working today, by the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, I saw it. I went through a list of all his works. It's like insanely long. and a lot of like spin-offs and repeating different, like having new takes on old franchises.
Well, I guess what we could do next is just go through what we've seen of Devilman and recommend maybe what is worth watching.
I personally would recommend the first OVA because I think it also starts at the beginning of the manga, which is I would assume from the length probably like the first few chapters, but is really good. Especially it's from the 80s and the animation just held up splendidly. It looks really good.
Oh yeah, like when I first saw it, like I was shocked like to see how well it like held up. Because, I mean, like, it just looks so good and, like, crisp.
I guess, especially the movement just looks so good. Everything has a huge punch to it.
The OVAs are very faithful adaptations anyway. The problem with them is just that they only adapt maybe half the manga. And then for whatever reason
it's
they
like
stop.
Snapshots of it.
Yeah. The ending's not in there, or the later parts of the manga. There is Amon, what's the name of this one? Amon Devilman Apocalypse or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Which
it's the only one I haven't seen.
Which is like
Yeah,
supposed to be a third one, but not really. Like it goes in a different direction than the manga does.
Yeah, no, it's like a whole different story really, that one.
Yeah. And it was made like 20 years later or some shit.
Time skip.
So yeah, we never really had a full adaptation of the manga. There was of course the Toei anime in the 70s, which is 40 episodes long or something, but that was toned down a lot for children. There's not a whole lot of violence in there or...
Yeah, which makes also sense why a lot of his work is OVAs, because they don't have to conform to like television rules. Like, I don't think you can make all of this nudity and violence work on television.
Well, it's the same with Tezuka with like is it Kimber the White Lion? The manga's quite dark, but then they have to really lighten it up when they adapted it, because there's no way you can show some of the things on like primetime TV for kids.
No.
Well, it's a bit weird that Devilman was adapted in the first place as a TV anime. I suppose they just saw the success of the Super Robot stuff they did based on his manga and just picked Devilman up regardless of content. Probably didn't even look at it.
Or probably just having his name on it.
I mean...
because he was such a controversial figure.
I'm just looking at Mal right now, and apparently the first episode of the Devilman anime aired a month after the first chapter of the manga.
Alright.
Oh, wow.
So
that is fast.
It's literally just the concept of and the look of the hero, I suppose.
Like, I feel Devilman is like a pretty good starting point if you want to get into like Go Nagai's work, because you get like a neat package of everything that makes his content, which is I wrote it down, which was what was his criticisms about it was violence, tons of it, gross humor, and nudity. So the second OVA had a monster design, which even made me like sort of uneasy. Like, this is sort of slightly cringy. Go away.
Which one are you referring to?
The turtle thing that has like faces on its back.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Like, yeah, so there will be like very I don't want to say shocking imagery, but stuff that stays with you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like Go Nagai's art style and like what he draws is very like memorable.
And also recognizable.
Oh yeah.
I feel that you can always tell that it's by him. I think like two things I like the most are characters with like these hook-shaped sideburns.
Oh yeah, the legendary sideburns.
Yeah, they just look amazing. Like, mwah, the frizzy. And the other one is in its monster design, which it looks so odd when you think about it, but then also red as hell, is wings on head. Like either like bat wings or like feathery wings, which even appears later on in his robot design. But you can always recognize it. Like even just the shape of it. You say wings on head. That's Nagai.
Like he's a bit all over the place with the monster designs.
Yeah,
he's very.
Well, I think that comes from the being under Ishinomori, with like Super Sentai monsters are always absolutely insanely ridiculous in their design. I think that's just where it came from for him. But
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Which also reminds me of a fantastic scene in the second Devilman OVA. I'm probably going to spoil this joke for you, but it's a bird lady is the main villain, and she gets weaker. I think her arm gets chopped off or she loses it, and then one of her demon friends comes in and says, we have to combine, we have to face this guy together, and it's really an emotional scene that this other demon would sacrifice his life for her. And she's immensely touched and said, yeah, okay, then we're going to combine and we're going to take this on. And then one scene later, the turtle guy and her have combined, meaning that she has just stuck herself on his head. Like... His head is gone, she is now there. Like, I thought this was going to be some elaborate mixing of designs. I said, like, nope. It's like, thump, put it on there. It's combined.
Well, it's also a bit tragic because he essentially sacrifices himself. I mean, I guess.
Like, yeah. What can we expect of USS Devilman then? I'm still wrapping my mind around it.
To probably be pretty crazy. Yeah. I can't really imagine it at the moment. It's just going to be insane.
We have one trailer and...
It's going to be like that cut he did for Samurai Champloo, where they start taking drugs and they just go insane. It'll be like that.
Yeah, the entire thing will be like that.
Wouldn't be surprised. With Go Nagai characters.
It's gonna be a trip for sure.
Oh yeah, and as a triple whammy, it's also produced by Netflix. Which I also didn't expect.
Which is neat, because it means we're gonna get it subbed everywhere in the world as soon as it's out.
Like, we're not hoping for a Little Witch Academia debacle.
Well, they always wait until the entire series is finished. But then again, we don't even know how long this Devilman thing is gonna be.
True.
I think, do we even have a confirmation if it's a series or like a film trilogy or...
Nope.
Not yet. He's doing lots of films, so I'd assume it's maybe, another film, or it's going to be like a short TV series.
It could be an OVA. The last Devilman thing we got was an OVA. Which it was the Devilman versus Cyborg 009.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which also
still have to watch.
hit Netflix, so I suppose that's where they got the idea from.
Well then.
Do we have anything more on Devilman, or should we move on to Devilman Lady?
Oh yeah, one of the many spin-offs of his own work. So I haven't seen Devilman Lady, but dear Socks, do you want to start on it?
Yeah, sure. So, one day this was a few years ago, and I was just like looking on this anime site I used to watch things on, and then Devilman Lady popped up, and I read the synopsis, and I was like, this sounds like the coolest thing ever, I'm gonna love this. And then I watched it, and I was so disappointed, because I did not expect like anything. And it was, like, the anime, like, my feelings on it have kind of changed since making the video, and like seeing more like Go Nagai stuff, but like, I'd still say that it's like really boring. And just like, I don't know, just not really entertaining at all. Very dumb. But I mean, entertaining in a way. And the manga was like definitely better quality, but like it's got this like the Go Nagai's traditional lots of nudity, like some like near H parts, or actually just H parts. But like, yeah, Devilman Lady, kind of special, I guess, to me in a way, because it's like what got me to check out more Go Nagai stuff, even though it wasn't the best first impression. Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And like the way like Jun's character design, like when she's transformed in the anime, like it looks like so cringy. Like, I don't know, like, because when we see Devilman transformed, it doesn't look that bad, but like it looks cool. Like, I think it's just the way that it's like done, like in the anime. I feel like she looks too human, her face after she transforms, so it just looks dumb. Like someone just decided to like change her skin tone and put wings on her head. Like, not even really like a demon. It just looks pretty tacky. Like in the manga, it looks better, but in the anime, oof.
They probably just went all out in the design. Well, what's iconic for my style? Put wings on head.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess
the anime doesn't really keep Go Nagai's art style in the first place. It looks very different.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It just looks like kind of like stereotypical like 90s character designs. Like not really like, yeah, any Go Nagai like influence, or at least as much as I feel like it should have.
Because his content, I think, is also like really linked to his style.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I should probably check it out soon, but I remember seeing your review, and now like thinking back to it, it doesn't really look like something he would draw.
Yeah, it's like very strange. Like, I don't get like why like the character designer like decided to make it so like different compared to like other Go Nagai stuff. I guess maybe it was to be more marketable, which I don't really get. That's the only thing I can come up with though. Like, yeah, it's just not a good design choice. Like, it's like, you gotta make sure, like, if you're gonna make a Go Nagai anime, make it look like a Go Nagai anime, or else it's gonna look like terrible. Cause like Go Nagai has such a like unique art style, and like just the unique style in general. It's like another thing about Devilman Lady is that like even just like its plot, like in the story, the way everything unfolds, like it doesn't really feel like a Go Nagai thing. It feels like a lot like someone just saw like the like concept for Devilman Lady and it's like, okay, I'm gonna make this my own now. And yeah, it's just like doesn't really feel like, because like the manga feels like a Go Nagai, obviously like a Go Nagai work because it is, but yeah, whereas the anime, it's just like, here's the premise, I'm gonna tinker with this a bit and kind of fuck it up, but here you go.
Okay, would you recommend Devilman Lady then?
The anime, hell no. I mean, it's just like, yeah, so boring, and like just like the shit that happens like towards the end, like I didn't see all of what happened because I just got so bored. I was like, I can't even finish this for a review. I was only halfway through. It felt like I saw 50 episodes. I was like, no, I can't do this. But like what I read about happens like at the end. I was like, oh god. But like I'd recommend the manga like if you have a tolerance for like seeing a bunch of demon dick, basically. If that doesn't bother you, then yeah, go ahead. The manga's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, if we want to, we can get from like one iconic female character to the next one. That being Cutie Honey. Does somebody want to say something?
I guess I'll start it then. But like, so I think I first started watching Cutie Honey like a bit after my review of Devilman Lady. So my opinions on like Go Nagai, I mean, I still respected him as a creator and stuff and what he did, but I just thought he's like a sleazy old guy. And so I watched Cutie Honey, and I was like, yo, this is freaking great. Like I like loved it. And I mean, Go Nagai still is a sleazy old man, but he's a sleazy old man in a cool way. He's like a cool sleazy old guy. Like, yeah, I watched, yeah, just like Cutie Honey. I enjoyed it so much. And I'm probably gonna like check out every Cutie Honey iteration. I think I just have to see the original 73 series and Shin Cutie Honey, and then I'll have seen like all of it.
Yeah, same. Like in preparation for this year podcast, I as well checked out the first episode of the 1973 series, as well as the first episode of Cutie Honey, and I have to say,
how do they compare?
Is really good. They're pretty hard to compare, but although you can compare it because they both have sort of in their zeitgeist. Like the 70s one is like also like super pop. Like you can feel the 70s like seeping out of your screen.
Oh yeah.
But it's surprisingly, you could say modern, really. It's the story of a girl who finds out that she is in fact a robot or an android built by her father, and that she can transform by touching her necklace choker thing that she has, by saying honey flash, and then she transforms into something else by the help of nanomachines. In true Solid Snake fashion.
Also, she's naked during the transformation, which is pretty influential, I guess, on magical girl shows. Except more explicit than you would usually see it nowadays.
Exactly. Like, she was the first one to have like transformation sequences, but in true the author's style, she gets like absolutely naked while doing so, and it's not like a Sailor Moon silhouette stylish thing. No, this is just naked skin, and her clothes just rip off of her, and then boom, she gets into a new costume that she can, and a whole new appearance actually. She can choose what hairstyle she wants, like what clothes. Of course, she has a few she really likes. But yeah, so she can always like use the perfect form for the thing that is needed right now. Even like full like female armor knight. So that also makes her a robot waifu. We can add her to the gallery. Sorry, and I was talking about that was the 1973 series, which has also her singing. Like it also has like a bit of idol pop star stuff in it, which is pretty strange for that it already happens in the 70s. Yeah, and then of course we have Cutie Honey, which is from 2000 and X.
I think it's 3, but I'm not sure.
It's 4, I think.
Okay, 2004, and it's
extremely Gynex.
Oh yeah, exactly. And the first episode is by Imaishi as the director. Second one is by he hasn't done much, but I looked him up. He's the guy who also did the One Piece Gold film recently. And then of course the last episode is by Hideaki Anno. So I only saw the first one and a bit of the second one, but you directly notice that there's another director working on it. So I think that this is going to be cool if I watch the whole thing, that every episode is going to have its own flavor.
Yeah,
that being said,
the last episode definitely feels like Anno. When you get to that one, you will suddenly have people staring at big screens and a generally more, I guess, darker apocalyptic tone for whatever reason. He just can't get away from that.
Because Anno.
Yeah.
I guess, and that all being said, I would recommend the first episodes to absolutely everyone, because it is just really fun. It is something absolutely trigger, and wow, so much energy, so much fun. It really feels like even like a proto Kill la Kill, I would even say. just from the design of Cutie Honey herself, with the short red hair and having a sword and a very skimpy outfit.
Yeah, now that you say it. I have also seen the Shin Cutie Honey anime, and I've read the manga as well, the original one, which is actually kind of shit, honestly. It's extremely short, and it doesn't really have an ending. They tease the main villain the entire time, and then she doesn't even fight her. The Shin Cutie Honey anime, I don't remember too well either, to be perfectly honest. I think it had pretty good animation, a high titties per minute ratio, and the budget
As usual.
and the budget drops at the last episodes, so it doesn't even look impressive anymore. But I guess it's an alright time waster. I think the best incarnation of it is Cutie Honey. That one's a lot of fun. And also, Anno did a live action adaptation of this one.
That was Anno?
Yeah. I've ordered the DVD for this like 2 weeks ago. I still haven't gotten it. I don't know why. I'll suppose I'll get back to you about this one.
I remember seeing clips of it, but now that I'm thinking back, I think that was the live action TV series and not the live action movie, because that looked like terribly cheap. Like people cosplaying in streets cheap.
I mean, yeah, that's the tokusatsu way.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It is, in fact, Anno, who directed a live-action Cutie Honey movie.
Yeah, surprising what everything does.
Well, I mean, Anno is a big fan of Go Nagai in general. They even did an interview together that was translated a while ago. Mazinger is a big influence on Eva, and clearly he likes Cutie Honey as well. And I suppose the apocalyptic tone of Devilman is also found in a little known work of his, Eva, I guess.
I mean, it's really apparent that this is one like very like melancholic work, and now that you mention it, it fits in with this like looming darkness that the Devilman has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned like his robots, should we go over to his like big robot series that he has done?
Yeah, I think he's pretty well known for those. Go Nagai is a big influence and very important to mecha anime in general, because he essentially pioneered the idea of a giant robot that's piloted by a human. There are earlier examples of giant robots in manga, but Mazinger is the first one that's directly piloted by a human. That's important because that's the common thing with mecha nowadays.
And he also, if I remember correctly, invented the Gynex pose, which is like a robot or someone standing cross-armed somewhere and then having a very amazing seeping shot over it.
Yeah, a confident-looking robot that's standing cross-armed. That was in Get a Robo, I think, the first appearance, which is not actually by Go Nagai, but who supposedly he gave Ken Ishikawa, the author of Get a Robo, the idea for combining robots, which I suppose is also a staple of giant mecha nowadays. But yeah. I mean, where do we even start with this one? Should we just go super robots in general, or Mazinger specifically? I think all of you have watched a little bit of Mazinger.
A little bit. Yeah.
Well, you saw Mazinkaiser
as well, and the specific one we want to rave about later on. I watched of Mazinger, the original series. No, not Mazinkaiser, which was like a short OVA, which I think you probably needed some before knowledge for that, because it already has like super different like iterations of Mazinger robots that fight together in a team. But it was really cool. Like I like that all of his robots have like super specific and special attacks, like robot punches, rust storms that just come out of its mouth, like beams and stuff. So probably not the best way to start there, but it gave a nice idea.
Well,
of
Mazinger is not terribly complex anyway. You get the gist of it. You can watch, I think, pretty much any incarnation and get the basics. It's a scientist built a big robot called Mazinger, and some kid pilots it, and he fights monsters of the week. And the robot has the rocket punch, which is something that shows up in a lot of mecha anime, of course.
Okay, but so like basically, Go Nagai is big robots that are also like super robots. These are not like these heavy lumbering tanks that move slowly. Like no, this is like fast punching beam action that is happening, and makes it also really fun to watch.
And also worth noting with Go Nagai's super robot stuff is that they are disproportionately popular in Italy particularly, and in like Latin America. I think there were some of the first anime that were ever dubbed in different languages back in the 70s. So that's also another reason why Guillermo del Toro likes Go Nagai.
Yeah, like I find that pretty interesting that Go Nagai's mecha stuff is like more popular like in certain like places, because like especially like over in the US, like that seems like it'd be a big risk to try to bring over like some of like Go Nagai's like mecha stuff, just because I don't know, something like doesn't seem like I guess some like licensors it's kind of risky, because for some reason I guess American audiences aren't too big a fan of like, well, I mean, I guess it depends, because there are like super robots here that are like somewhat popular, like some like Gundam Wing, but like yeah, for the most part, yeah, it's like some like I couldn't really see Go Nagai's anime getting popular over here in the US, so I find that pretty interesting.
And in Italy, it's a household name. You have your entire like Christmas decorations with Mazinger figurines and whatever. Well, we can do special mentions for Mazinkaiser SKL.
Yeah, we might as well.
Since it's still related to Mazinger. Which is a series, a 3-episode OVA series that for whatever reason a lot of people are watching in the past couple of days.
Oh yeah.
It's because it also is just tremendous fun. You can watch Mazinkaiser SKL like on its own, without any prior knowledge of anything else. And why it's awesome is basically it's metal as fuck. You have just again trademark violence, not that much nudity actually, but it has a heavy metal soundtrack by also a Japanese heavy metal band who has been around since the 80s, called Loudness. And so just a lot of it is added by the fantastic soundtrack that just has so much guitar riffs and everything you could wish for. And also has, surprisingly, as I found, a very good straightforward plot. We have an island where 3 different factions are who absolutely do not like each other. What was it again? The Kiba, the Galen, and the Octagon. Ones are Vikings, the other ones are like Greek oracles, and the other ones are like Mad Max guys. So we have a nice array of different designs. And like this floating island thing that they have is going to collapse because the gravity prison that is in the middle of it is going haywire and threatening up to blow up the whole planet. But as these 3 factions are still in war for many, many years, they absolutely are not concerned with it and just have big mecha fights all the time, like full-on war.
And in the middle
Yeah,
of
then-
it, you have the Mazinkaiser robot piloted by two cool guys, and they don't belong to any of these factions. They just want to wreck shit.
Exactly. That's their credo. They just come in and say, we just want to wreck stuff, and that's what they do.
Like, imagine a Judas Priest album cover, but it's an hour-long anime, and that's essentially Mazinkaiser SKL.
A perfect description. Yes. Like so, and and that is basically the story. 3 very rad mecha designs plus 1 big one, and like an outer 4th faction that comes in and wants to solve this problem because the planet is threatened, and then just lands in this 3-way war of big robots.
The rest of the
And-
world wants to stop these guys from rocking out too hard. It's a
Basically
lovely
everyone
show.
shaking their fists. Like, stop it over there with the metal, you're blowing up the planet.
Yeah, that's a pretty apt summary.
Exactly. And to add to it, I love the robot fights, which are all 2D animated. They're very rare CGI shots in there, so it just looks stellar. Just also from its choreography and action and mecha designs, and something that I always liked about the few mecha shows that I've seen by Go Nagai, his robots bleed. They all have like red fluid that runs in them. I don't know why they have that, but it just looks good.
Well, because you gotta have violence even if it's robots.
Exactly.
Yeah, that OVA is a masterpiece of dumb action. It's a lovely show and everyone should watch it. I think it's on Crunchyroll US.
Oh yeah, it is.
And
It's like the compilation version of it.
yeah. And there's also a Blu-ray release, a US Blu-ray release, which costs like $10 and it's region free. I have ordered it and I can play it on my European Blu-ray player. And that's also worth it.
Which I also can recommend because the Crunchyroll version has like I think only a 480p version of it, which is a bit sad. So yeah, just get the Blu-ray and you will have just tremendous fun with it. Like, yeah, so then we also have Mazinkaiser SKL, which gets a thumbs up from all of us.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It gets the horns up.
Yep.
So yeah, what else do we have?
Sticking with robots, Steel Jeeg maybe?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Steel Jeeg is another one of the super robots he did in the 70s alongside Mazinger and I think Grandizer. It's an assembling robot. It's assembled every time via magnetism. It looks cool as shit. The manga to this one is a bit weird.
Oh yeah. It's like 7 chapters. There's no context given to whatever's going on, and it's just 7 chapters of Jeeg beating up a monster.
Yeah, and it has
It's insane.
a really
it's
weird
so
ending
good.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got this non-ending, but it's just insane. It's so fun. So stupid.
And a couple years ago we got like a sort of reboot anime, which is Kotetsu Shin Jeeg, which is also a good time. It's like 30 episodes long, and it feels like a Go Nagai thing that was made in like the 2000s.
Because I never saw or read Jeeg, but like also given the length, I really should get to it. And now,
Yeah, same. Like, I've been meaning to check out Jeeg, but haven't gotten around to it, unfortunately.
just in different series that they have, that no Go Nagai has also wrote down Violence Jack,
Oh, okay, yeah.
which you Alastair watched.
I love Violence Jack so much. It's so bad. It's the stupidest series ever. It's like Mad Max if it was an erotic horror, and it's just so stupidly good. I can't even think how to describe Violence Jack properly. It's just, think Fist of the North Star, but I don't know, more rape. It's a lot more manageable than something like Devilman Lady, because it's only 3 like 50-minute OVAs, so it's really easily manageable. But it's just get some alcohol together and watch all 3 of them. It's just insane. It's definitely probably the most graphic of the one, especially the 2nd and 3rd OVAs. They're the most graphic I've seen of his. So it's not something if you've got a weak stomach to watch, but it's certainly good. Good fun drunk watch.
Yeah.
But what is there to say about Violent Jack?
Yeah, other than it's just insane. No, it's not much. It's one of the Go Nagai series that I think everyone wants you to forget about. But with all the series that, like, even Jeeg has gotten a reboot series, but like they're trying to shove Violent Jack under the rug and make you forget about it.
It wouldn't be easy to do nowadays. You can't do Violence Jack in a TV anime. You could only do it back in the 80s in an OVA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna discuss the most important Go Nagai anime, which is Robot Girls?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was like anthropomized girls of his mecha, wasn't it?
Yeah. I haven't actually seen it. I just wanted to mention it. It's a strange oddity.
So you have like a Jeeg girl, a Mazinger girl, and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah. Supposedly it's pretty alright. I guess I'll get around to it sometime.
Again, if we don't have any more like specific series, we can open up the discussion on like his general themes and controversies, as well as like, is he a good / bad writer?
He's certainly aware of things. I know he said in interviews that he's always tried to do things in manga that you can only do in manga. That's why it's so expressive in his facial expressions of his characters. Like, he's certainly aware of the craft, and he's aware that what he's doing is, or what he did in the 70s was considered very edgy, and I think that's where his charm and appeal comes from.
Yeah, like, I agree. Like, I feel like Go Nagai, like, that, he has, like, a self-awareness in his works, I guess, where it's, like, he knows that he's creating, like, campy, like, fun shit, and so he just works with it, so that way it's not, like, it's just a fun time, whereas, like, if he didn't have that self-awareness, like, it would just be, like, a shit show, but since he does, it's, like, fantastic, like, the stuff he does, like, because when I watched Cutie Honey after seeing Devilman Lady, I noticed that, like, in Cutie Honey, you can tell that, like, everyone was having, like, they knew, like, what they were doing, and that it was just gonna be a fun, silly little, OVA, whereas, like, Devilman Lady took itself way too seriously for what it was, and it was just, like, didn't work. So yeah, Go Nagai's, like, self-awareness when it comes to that is very, like, it's a very, like, important part of his works, and it's like what makes them unique and very fun.
Yeah, like watching like newer adaptations of his work, I think it really shows that, like, if you see like the older stuff on it that is like too serious or whatever, then yeah, it doesn't work. It needs this campness as well as the over-the-top fun.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, once you take it too seriously, it's like, it just stops being Go Nagai, and it ends up being just, like, not very fun. It's gotta have some element of camp in there, or else it's kind of just not the same, like, at all.
It just becomes straight edgy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, adding to that, I'm also happy that we have USA on Devilman. So I think he's a really good man for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm really interested in seeing how the new Devilman anime plays out, because it's guaranteed to be, like, really interesting, like, regardless. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be good, but, like, you know, gotta have some doubt sometimes, but, like, yeah. It's gonna definitely be interesting and very memorable. And I'm definitely, like, looking forward to it.
Because I think we didn't have, like, any new super recent Go Nagai adaptation, didn't we?
Most
Yeah, I don't think we
recent
have.
would probably be the Devilman Cyborg 009 OVA, I think. So just like a little spin-off homage to Ishinomori and Go Nagai. I think that's the most recent. So yeah, and I think that is.
Yeah, that would make me interested, like how he fits into today's world, because as we said, he is the guy who basically invented like fan service and stuff. Like, would it even have the same like punch if he would make it today? Because it has basically become standard at this point.
Well, it's interesting because with Go Nagai, it went through, well, Go Nagai certainly brought in this edgy phase a lot earlier than like Western comics. Like, it's most notable in the 90s where Western comic books got really, really dark and edgy and brooding. But with Go Nagai, it certainly feels, especially if you read other things around that time, that it kind of was brought in this 20-year period earlier, certainly in the 70s with Devilman and Violent Jack and all these very blatantly edgy stories. So it's I mean, it just shows the quite distinct effect he had, really.
And also, you find a lot of like references to his work in other works, like how basically very important he was for the whole genre. Like, now with the abundance of magical girl shows we have, it's like really refreshing to see like the original again. It's at least how I felt about Cutie Honey, that the idea of having a magical transformation is just the idea that a robot is like adapting to his or her own like surroundings, and making that transformation sequence then a staple of another genre. I find that super fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, one thing that I find really interesting about Cutie Honey is that, like, there's, like, so much fan service in it and stuff. And then it eventually, like, became aimed at, like the genre, but, like, was aimed at, like, really young girls. Like, I find that evolution pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, I remember reading that Cutie Honey then, as you said, despite its fan serviceness, became like a female idol of sorts that a lot of different, I think, female writers and manga said that they looked up to. And I think I can sort of see it, because what I like about it is that Cutie Honey herself is like a very fun character, and in true robot fashion doesn't really have a problem with her nudity. So she always looks like she has fun. And also plays around with it. And like, if you look at some of the fan service today, it's always like girls being shy and blushing and stuff. Like she doesn't do that. And that I find also like really refreshing, although it is a lot older.
Yeah, like, there's actually a Cutie Honey anime called Cutie Honey Flash, where it's like, so I think it was right after like Sailor Moon ended, and so they needed something in that time slot for little girls, so they just decided to reboot Cutie Honey and make it like a stereotypical magical girl anime, and it was terrible. Like, fortunately, like, only the first 2 episodes were subbed, because like it was just so bad. I was like, it just took away like all the charm from Cutie Honey, because like, yeah, like you said earlier, she's like totally fine like being nude, and stuff. But like in this, there's like nothing really like that. And she's just like, oh, Honey is so annoying in Cutie Honey Flash. Like, my God. Like, it's just like a really annoying, like, bossy girl. Not even close to the original Cutie Honey at all. And what made her so fun to watch is just so taxing to sit through.
Oh no. Well, now we have something for the group watch to check out.
And there's also a movie, which the Cutie Honey Flash movie has been subbed, I think. So that, yeah, I've been meaning to get around to that, even though I'm not looking forward to it, but yeah.
At least we can suffer in a group if we want to.
Yeah.
I guess, what I also want to add about Cutie Honey is that she has like a proper sword as a fighting weapon. Which I also find cool because like most recent magical trolls have like either magical staffs or stuff to swing around. I know she has like like a proper sword beating up stuff, which looks amazing. Oh yeah, and she has a bike, which also has like a very cool design because she has like a biker outfit, which is like the helmet and a very long scarf that is like floating behind her.
Yeah, like, Cutie Honey, like, she's, like, kind of, like, the essence of cool, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, with a lot of, like, magical girl shows, you don't really get that. Like, you just get, like, stereotypical... I mean, I haven't seen much magical girl anime, but from what I can gather, from what little I've seen, it's, like, stereotypical girly girl and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, yeah, Cutie Honey, like, she's, like, totally, like, she's, like, a badass. Like,
oh, yeah.
But she's also, like, kind of an idiot, which is also, like, a nice contrast, because it's, like, at times she's super stupid, but, like, she's also cool. Like, at the same time, it's great. Like, a nice, like, mixture.
Like, yes, she, especially in Cutie Honey, she's a super fun character.
Oh, yeah. And it's, like, sometimes her stupidity, like, even, like, helps, like, save the day, which is pretty, like, it's pretty fun to watch, just... Yeah.
Oh yeah, and like in true fan service fashion, but works really well with her character is because she transforms, like her clothes are part of her. So if her energy depletes, her clothes also disappear. So she gets like less and less clothes. But that in the first episode of Cutie Honey makes for a splendid joke, as well as that she has to replenish energy by eating something, and so you just have her like chomping away on just piles of food and having a lot of fun with it. I think like, yeah, this is cute.
Yeah, like one thing that I really love about like Cutie Honey is that like its fan service does not feel like forced at all. It's like very natural, and it's not like, because like for most like ecchi anime, when I see like a bunch of fan service, it just like makes me cringe. But like with Cutie Honey, it was just like very naturally like included in there, and it was not cringeworthy. It was just like this is happening right now, but it's like not embarrassing. It's just happening, and it's very refreshing, especially like in this day and age where it's like fan service is always embarrassing. It's always very awkward. Whereas like yeah, with Cutie Honey, she's like yeah, totally like. It just feels natural, which is very nice.
Oh yeah, I noticed that as well. Like one of my problems with like fan service is not that there's nudity, but that it basically makes the show come to a grinding halt. Like it's here's your fan service scene now. And then mostly we get like a super pandering camera shot, or like a sort of peeping Tom camera that is just at butt height or at boob height. Where I think like nobody would shoot a scene like that. Just go away, shoo. But with Cutie Honey, it's just she's naked. Well, no problem, and it doesn't change anything in cinematography or in camera work, and that felt like super refreshing to me.
Yeah, it's like when Honey's naked, it's just like, oh, the show. If anything, the show gets crazier, and like it doesn't stop like at all. Like the action is like like constant, and it's fantastic. It's just bombastic, like just like crazy, and just fun camp.
Especially with Imaishi's episode, where I also have like super cool camera angles that just happen to have a butt somewhere, but also look like super triggery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do we have anything else?
I don't know. Should we just do a little roundup of what we'd recommend people check out?
Just a small thing, like two small things I'd like to mention about Go Nagai, which I suppose I didn't have a chance to get in. First of all, Go Nagai is not terribly good at ending manga. This seems to be a common thing with his stuff. He always sets up like a sequel to things, because I suppose he did like 1 million Mazinger sequels, but sometimes his manga just don't get any, which is why you get stuff like Still Jeeg, which has an entire final chapter that's just set up to a sequel that never happens.
Oh damn.
Yeah, endings are not his strong suits. They're always a bit rushed and weird. And the other thing I'd like to mention is Go Nagai is very recently did an autobiographical manga about his career as a manga artist, which seems pretty interesting, but it's unfortunately not translated at all, which is a shame.
Alright.
Yeah, those are the two things I thought I'd mention real quick.
I can add to that. It's something that I saw on Wikipedia, is how he got started in manga. Is a beautiful story, because apparently he was like in university and suddenly got terribly sick with like colon stuff. So he had like diarrhea for 3 weeks straight, and was suffering a lot. And he said he became aware of his own mortality and said, I have to leave something for the world, I can't just disappear. And he started doing manga.
So we have diarrhea to thank for Go Nagai. And I suppose by extension for mecha anime.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so apparently it was always his childhood dream, but never had the courage, and then suddenly get sick and said, oh god, no, I have to start.
One other little thing that I read in an interview once, I think in the mid-2000s, he became a character design professor at a university in Osaka, which just really emphasizes how important his character designs and his facial expressions are, and how recognizable and full of character they are.
Yeah, should we do a quick recommendation round and round things off?
Yeah, sure.
I suppose I can start. In terms of manga, for Go Nagai, I would definitely recommend everyone read Devilman. In part because we are getting a new anime by Yuasa, and so you should. But also it's I suppose just good and influential. For anime, I mean, I guess Mazinkaiser SKL, but that's not really even a work by him. So a regular old Mazinkaiser works just as well. And I also recommend people check out the interview that Go Nagai did with Hideaki Anno, which is pretty interesting, and you can see a lot of his influence on, well, directors that came after him. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, as I actually just think about it, haven't read any manga by him yet. But I would recommend the Devilman OVAs, at least the first one. If you like it, then go for the second one. But the first one is, as Boris said, very faithful adaptation, as well as just look amazing. Like, if you want to go for like fun 80s camp, this is your OVA to watch. Yeah, and I would add Mazinkaiser SKL as well. Yeah, while not a work by him, like certainly inspired and just a lot of metal fun that you will have a blast with. Yeah, of course, how could I forget? Read Cutie Honey is a must. That so far, as I said, always seen the first episode, but it is just really good. If you're craving like more trigger in your life and just having a really fun, colorful, immensely stylish adventure, then this is the OVA for you. And it's also like pretty short. It has like double the length, it's like 45 minutes, but it's also like 3 OVAs. So yeah, I absolutely recommend like Read Cutie Honey.
Well, I'll continue mine. Both read and watch Still Jeeg. The manga for Still Jeeg will take you like 20 minutes, and it's insanely fun. Don't expect to understand anything going on, but it's still fun. The anime's super solid, lots of reused animation and a bit of quite dodgy CG. But I found it really quite full of character and an entertaining watch, so I recommend going for that. And again, it's only like 13 episodes, so can't really go wrong. And then anime, like I said, just watch Violence Jack, get drunk, watch it. It's an experience that will probably not leave you, and I apologise for that in advance, but...
Well, if you have a high tolerance for violence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Socks?
Okay, yeah. So, even though it's not by Go Nagai, I really recommend Getter Robo Armageddon, because it's a very fun watch. Like, I really enjoyed it. The animation looks very sleek, like, character designs especially. And, I also recommend Read Cutie Honey. Extremely fun. A quick watch. And it's, just total, like, fun camp. And yeah, I also recommend the 2 Devilman OVAs. Those are also pretty fun. Yeah, animation's pretty sleek. And if you have tolerance, like, for H scenes, I guess, I do recommend the Devilman Lady manga, as that is pretty fun. But yeah, that's only Go Nagai manga I've read, actually, but yeah.
Like, all right. Oh, this have been our recommendations then, for if you want to get started into Go Nagai. Yeah, should we round this off then? Okay, so I would say, well, this was fun. We now have a good overview of our author here. And we're all looking forward to yours, Devilman.
Oh yeah,
however
definitely.
it will turn out. I think, is it this year that it's coming out?
2018, I think.
Oh, that's still looking forward to it. So this has been our GARcast about Go Nagai. Thank you very much for listening. And this has been Alastair.
Bye-bye.
Boris.
Bye.
Thank you for our special guest, AwesomeSoxz.
See ya.
Really happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And me, Elena. So wish you all a splendid day. Have fun with a lot of nudity and violence by Go Nagai that you can check out after this podcast. And see you around, everyone. So then, bye-bye from all of us.
Bye.